lately that we were not aware and all this stuff, right? So the timing is from 11, oh sorry, 10 to 11. Uh, what are the days? The days are same as that of I am conducted the classes, and that is from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, most probably. And till this time, I'm sure of it right now that yes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 10 to 11 is the timing. So just make sure you guys be there. Uh, you can ask your doubts. You can ask some of the conceptual things as well as whatever you have studied till now or the assignments over which you are facing difficulties. And that guy will be checking your assignments and will be scoring you on that basis, right? So be present, be present on time because attendance will also be taken in consideration. Attendance will also be taken in consideration, right? So just uh, keep these things in your mind and prepare from the next week, right? From the next week, and major thing is next week from Monday onwards, right? Monday and onwards from next week. Great. Okay. So what we just no, just a second. I'll just coming back with it, right? Next week. Great. So in the previous class, I would have given you some work, right? Okay. Arrow functions binding. Okay, I'll explain somewhat about this and then arrow functions. Then I'll be telling about intervals. Okay, got it. I hope so. You guys have started from your end as well, according to the things which were noted or which were asked to be done, right? So uh, we'll be starting with the new concept or the new thing which I asked you to like study before, but it's okay, right? So we'll be like learning about window thing, right? What is window and what is this binding and all that, right? Window, or in a nutshell, you can say this binding, right? This binding. Great. Okay, so let me make a folder first so that it is a little clear for you guys. Lecture, lecture 11. And okay, inside lecture 11, I'm giving the folder name as window right now, right? Window and this. Mm, let's make it just window, right? Window, you will get to know about it. Making folders in HTML as well as .js, adding my boilerplate, attaching my file, JS and window and this binding, right? So okay, let's see what all can we see here, right? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm simply making a small function. Let's assume the name of my function is fun right now. I generally make this name only, right? Because it's in my head. Okay. So what if I console.log something here, right? I control console.log something here. What comes? It will not show anything until unless I'll call the function. I'll call the function and let's see this. Okay. Samarth is visible to me. That's great. That's great. So what if I again make a function named as fun with double n. Let's make it funny. And what I'm doing is I'm giving the same thing, like I'm like consoling out something, console.log. But this time I'm consoling log just this thing, right? I'm consoling log something which is consisting this. Like what is this? Let we'll all see in a moment. Till time we can like, and at the same position I'll call this function as well, or I can call it lately, like hardly matters. If I call it funny, if I call my function, then something like window is shown over my console, right? If I just open up this window, then I have many functions, many objects, and many kind of functionalities which are there with me, right? So what is this, and what is window? Why is it showing me window? Right. So let's do one thing. Let's first copy this code and paste it in your app.js so that it will help you somehow. Right. Window and this. Simply copying it up here. Now let's see what's there. Right. I'm just copying down the code. Right. I copied down the code. Ignore this line, and function was called. Now, what exactly this is, right? So we know that whenever a JavaScript, uh, I guess someone's mic is not muted. So can you please mute it? Oh, so this is okay. Great. So whenever a JavaScript code is run, right? Whenever JavaScript code is run, a global execution context is created, right? We know that global execution context is created along with which two things are also there: memory creation phase along with the code execution phase, right? Along with this global execution context, that is, whenever a GC is created, a global object is also created. A global object is also created. Is also created. Let's see where we can see this global object. Okay, so if I go to my elements, sources, and I just simply go to map.js. Oh, I've commented all of this, right? Just a moment. Let's do one thing. Let's uh, comment this. Let's uncomment this, comment this, and let's make it one more console line, like any random line, just for my sake. Submit, and let's save it. Right. Well, now what I'm doing is I'm inside my app.js. I am again creating some breakpoints here, right? So what if I'll again refresh this? Till now, I have nothing in my call stack, nothing in my scope. I'm just refreshing my browser server. Then see something like namely as global is present with us, right? This global is present, and in front of this global, I can see a window written, right? This window is being written here, right? So we can see all the functions which we saw in the console.log of window thing whenever that we logged in console in the browser, right? So at the same time we were having the same functions and the same objects which are present here are same in the window, right? So in case of browser, whenever global execution is whenever a global execution content context is created now, a global object is also created, and this global object is basically the window in case of browsers, right? Let me just write this line. This is really important. So I would say whenever a global execution context is created, along with that, a global object is also created. Global object is also created. Right? And in case of browsers, uh, the window, sorry, window is equal to that global object, right? This global object is basically the window. So basically, I asked you to study this, but it's okay. Like something we can discuss with it, right? Okay. So what if I go to my console and I simply write something like function as fun. Let me just remove it first initially, right? Function fun, and I'm making it something like console dot log this. Okay. So and at the same time, what I want to do is I want to let's say. mm, use a property. Okay, let me show you first that what all things are there with us. If I run this function, this window will not be having any of the property used with the uh, used with the keyword name, right? There's nothing name right a little like this, right? There's nothing is being written inside it, right? So what I'll do is I'll simply just a second, huh? I'll simply like make the changes this way, like this dot name is equal to, I'm giving it a name, assigning it a name with, let's say, Abhishek, right? Giving it a name with Abhishek, right? If I'll console.log my value of, or simply I'll simply write this dot name in my browser, and I'll ask the value for it, then Abhishek is coming. Okay, I named it as Abhishek, right? But what if I simply console log my name? Then also I'm getting Abhishek only. Why is it happening? Let me just explain you again. Uh, okay, so basically this dot name, why is it lagging? I don't know. And name, they both are same thing. Both are the same thing. As I just told you, this refers to the window, right? This refers to the window in the case of browser. So if I would write console dot log as my let's say again summer, and at the same I'll write dot console dot log, again I'll then also I'm getting the same thing, right? This functionality is something which can be written and which can be ignored in the case of like our browser thing, because the browser is directly like object, this the global object is directly pointing towards my window only. So if we write this and if we ignore this, it is directly automatically being like taken from the value of a global object. So either writing this and ignoring this is the same thing, right? So basically this dot window is equal like what if I write window, right? So I can get the same entire object here, this window object which is present with me, right? This window object is like can be getting this way, and I gave this name as Abhishek, right? So this window object is showing me the property that is a key value pair of name as well as Abhishek this way, right? So if I write window, like window,
Excuse me, sir.
sorry, window, just a second, just a second, and this dot window. So these both are the same thing because by default in the browser, this keyword is basically referring to the window, right? Just coming to you. Yeah. Sir, why are morning classes discontinued, sir? We just a second. Why we are going to understanding. See, basically, my schedule is very packed from the morning, right? Earlier, I used to work a little late, and there was a gap in between the schedule of mine, but now it's really is the screen lagging a lot for others too. Uh, I am really sorry. The internet connectivity is not well here. Actually, I'm also facing problems with the same thing. Like I'm writing and it is coming in like 1 or 2 seconds lately. Uh, Abhishek, your answer is basically I would say the morning classes will be continued soon once my project over which I'm working right now will end up. Right, it's a little like urgent. It's a really urgent right now, so that's why uh, the schedule of many of the team members has been like little stretched out. But don't worry, your understanding will be clear along with that. Morning classes will be taken by a very good teaching assistant. Uh, that is just the name assistant, but that guy is like is really knowledgeable. That's why he's associated with that. So don't worry. We'll be like covering the best possible things, and along with that, I'll be letting you know all the syllabus stuff, right? Whichever you think you need, and whichever stuff I would say you guys need to like to be in a good developer stage, right? So don't worry about that. I'm just giving you a nutshell in a brief thing. Ultimately, you guys have to like explore and do the R&D over it and take doubts by that TA, right? So hopefully you will also adjust, and if the screen is lacking a bit more, then like interrupt me in between so that I can be a little slow in my pace so that it does not lag much, right? So it's okay. I guess it's manageable, not that much issue, right? So this keyword is basically pointing towards the window only, in case of the browsers, right? Pointing towards the window only. How we see this, if I write window is equal to this dot window, then I'm getting the value true. That this means that if we write this and if we do not write this, this basically is pointing to the window and all the functionalities along with the objects which we are making or all the properties which we are giving it in is like getting from the window object only, right? So this is how we can like uh, get some taste of I would say CSS some taste of this keyword, but it is not the end. It is like just the starting. We can also, like this was about basic keyword, right? So now we'll about constructor function. Will be constructor, or I would say a new binding constructor function, or I would say new keyword binding, right? New keyword binding. I just told you about this binding, new keyword binding, right? How will this keyword now behave? Like it's a very vast concept, but again, I'll give you a small glimpse. I gave you a small nutshell, and you guys have to like explore it on your own. But I'll tell you what happens is like we know that what is a constructor function. Constructor function is something over which we can make our like different function kind of stuff, right? And we have some conventional things to write constructor function. You must have started in your some of the DSA languages, right? The constructor function is being made. So what is the first protocol? The first protocol of the constructor function is that every constructor function need to be singular in the name. Along with that, like it's a convention thing which we all developers or which we all coders follow, right? Every function with the name has to be singular, and the starting of the function has to be with a capital letter. What I meant to say is, let's assume I'm again going to my uh, clear set. I'm making a function inside the function. Let's assume I want to make a constructor named as person, right? So the first letter of my function is capitalized. Along with that, I'll be, let's say, whenever if I'll be calling this function, let's assume I'll be okay. Let's just make the functionality first so that we don't get confused. I'll be writing this dot name is equal to name, and what this name refers here, I'll be accepting two parameters in my constructor, right? We accept parameters that what all things you want to make with your constructor, what all functions you want to make with your constructor, right? So name, let's say I'm also getting age at the same time. So I want this dot name, like this keyword will be binded. This keyword bind name will be equal to the name which I'm getting from the parameter, and this I would say age is equal to the age, right? The age I only have one above. The age parameter which I have taken in consideration in the above step. Also, just a second. Also, I can do one thing. Um, I can also make a function, right? I can make, let's say, this dot. I'll make a function of say hello, and I'll be giving it like a function value. Base 9 function. I made a function. Uh, Inside the function, I'll be writing my functionality. For example, simply say console.log. I'll use the name itself there.
Sir,
I'll say hello from. Just a second again. Is it lagging?
Yes, sir. Sorry, your screen and voice both are lagging, sir.
Like even I'm not able to hear you. Can you just type in the chat box? It's like little like breaking in between. Is the screen lagging or is it like your voice is breaking, lagging a lot? Uh, okay. Lagging a lot. I'll be a little slow again, so just let me know if it is lagging again or not, right? I'm simply making one more property inside my constructor function. That is, I'm trying to give a key value pair as a function itself there. I'm making a function. That function to say hello whenever I'll make any of the object using this constructor function, right? So that if I'll use the property inside my constructor function by the object over which I have made the object by using this constructor function, right? So then I'll be able to access it. How we can be like sure of it, we'll see right now, right? Okay, so what if I told you about we started learning about constructor function, right? So how we make objects using constructor function, it's like let's assume I want to make a P1 object, right? and again, now this is new. So new keyword will be encountered whenever you are making objects with the constructor function along with the name by which you are uh, being made. And since a constructor always accepts some like parameters arguments, so you need to give it some values here. Let's assume I'm saying my here it's like Karthik, or I would say the age is 28, 27, whatever. So if I do it this way, then let's see what happens. If I go with my P1, P1 will show P1 is not defined. New P1. Just a second now. P1 is not defined. Let me check person. Screen is freezing. What? Sorry.
Yes, sir. Your screen is not.
Uh, am I not audible?
You are audible, sir. But
Just a second.
screen freezes
I'm
actually.
audible. Just a second. I'm trying to like get a better internet. Just a second now. I'm sharing my screen again. Just let me know, is it better now or like am I audible? Am I audible properly? Am I audible properly? Please let me know. Hello. Screen
Yes,
is
sir.
freeze. I
Audible,
guess
sir.
now. Okay. I guess now the screen won't freeze. Like I'm writing something. I'm saying and writing at the same time. Just let me know. Hello. I am audible. I guess. Is it still lagging or is it better now? Better or lagging?
It's
Yes,
better.
audible still. Better, right? So let's adjust a bit, right? Let's adjust. I don't know what to say now. So I'll be a slow. I'll be a little slow. So okay, let's see what we can do and what we cannot, right? So uh, there was some small thing, right? I'll just clear it off and say it again. I don't know how many of you were able to listen to it or how many of you were not, but it's okay. We'll start it over again. So we are basically learning about constructor functions. So what constructor functions are? Constructor functions are basically like you must have heard about constructors in your data structures and how you like make functions and how you like extract the values and different stuff. So constructor function is something which can be used to make objects in our case as well. So what we'll do is we'll simply make a function. Let's say making I'm making a function F1 CTI1. I'm making a function named as person, but always make sure the constructor functions are by default to be started with like the function name has to start with a capital letter and has to be singular. You cannot say persons. It's a like a general practice. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it's something like a general practice. Okay, so let's assume I am making a function of person. Then what I'll do is I'll simply like uh, write the values of it like this dot name is equal to the name, and if I say uh, this dot age is equal to the age, if I'm accepting the parameters from it, then I need to send it from the position from wherein I am asking the constructor to be built, right? So I'll also be making a function known as hello, or I would say yeah, say hello. uh, Say hello. So what that function will save is that that'll simply create a small function, the function wherein you will be getting the values. Let's assume console dot log hello from the person, right? I'll be using backticks here. Hello from the person की जगह hello from let's assume this dot name which is being sent in the above property, and closing this, and even saying it this way. Okay, great. I've made a constructor. If I want to make an object with a constructor, right? How will I do it? I'll simply say let whatever name I want to give to my object. I'll use a new keyword. I'll use a new keyword here in this case, and again with that, I'm able to I'm sending a parameter of name, that is whatever name I want to send. I'm sending Karthik, and the age, any number which I want to send. Let's see, am I able to get this function this object or not? If I click on p1, then it is showing p1 is not defined. But if I go with p1 dot name, right, this reference error, p1 is not defined. How is it possible? Yeah, function person name. When I've written new, right? New person is there. Yes, new is there. Like, why is it showing this way? Function I created with the name. Name is there. This dot name. Name is equal to name. This dot age is equal to age. Uh, why is it happening so? Why? Just give me a moment. This should not have happened here. This dot name. If I simply write this is pointing to my window. If I check my window, then this person object is there. This person object is having length 2. Okay, I'm able to make a person here, but why is it not giving me uh, this will bind with new, and new right now made with p. A small
The
mistake is
constructor
there.
constructor का name same as function नहीं होगा.
I made person only, right? Sorry, what are you saying? Just come again.
तो मुझे इसमें डाउट है this dot say hello में मतलब ये हमने क्या फंक्शन बनाया.
मतलब बेसिकली व्हाट वी डू इज हम की वैल्यू पेयर्स डालते हैं, राइट? की वैल्यू पेयर्स के टाइम पे key can be anything, value can be anything. So the value right now here is the function. I'm directly saving the value as the function, but that is not the issue here. The issue is something else. Let's just uh let me make one more object. Why is it happening? I don't know. This should not have happened. This should not have happened. I'll say I'm making p2 as my object, which is equal to new. I'm making constructor with person, and inside the person I'll give a value of Sam, and I'll give a value of 26. But again, if I access p2 uncalled reference error, p2 is not defined, anonymous, m.js. Yeah, this should not have happened here. Just a
Or
moment,
it's
please.
running.
So then why is it not running in my case? I don't know. There must be some browser. Is it running on your browser,
Yes, I
right? It is running on your browser,
yes,
right?
yes, sir.
Maybe I can see the documentation part is still moving on. That's why there are some issues. But let me explain you what is happening, right? Are you sure it's running on your case, right? You are able to get the values.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I guess others should also try it this way. I'll just copy this up because I know this is the right way and this is how we do it. So I'll simply paste it over the app.js. Right. So I'll explain it what exactly is happening behind the scenes. So
Sir,
I'll just
just check
explain
my
it.
code in the chat box. You can just paste it in the JavaScript file, and it is running.
Just a second. I can check it this way as well. Function this dot name, this dot age. Done. Done. Yeah, we made the same thing, right? We made the same thing. And I don't know why was it not visible. If I just simply the console.log just instead of simply p1, then also it should say the same thing. Right. It is not right now. There is like some error with my browser, and it should not have happened in everyone's case, right? So if others will try, it will happen perfectly fine. You'll be able to access the values. It is just happening in my case, right? So I'm explaining it uh, here so that if you guys
सर लास्ट में
encounter,
सेमीकोलन यूज नहीं करना था होता क्या हमें?
so it's not something which is compulsory. Like if you have more properties, then you give comma and semicolon stuff. But if you give it or ignore it, that hardly matters. But not in the first and second last properties, right? At that case, you need to give it. At that time, you need to give it, right? Okay. So what basically happening here is whenever like you are creating a object with this new new keyword, right? Just understand this properly, because this binding which we studied earlier just 5-10 minutes ago, that this was pointing towards the window. Right now this keyword will not point towards the window because of this constructor function. We are like studying about that. This is my constructor function. How I know? Okay, it's singular and it's starting with a capital letter just by convention. So I made simply a constructor function. This is okay, this I can make, but I'm creating this object p1 using this new keyword. Whenever I create an object with the new keyword, now what happens is this new binding, like the binding between the this and the new, will take place. And now, rather than this keyword pointing or binding towards the window, now this keyword, this keyword will not point towards the window. Rather than pointing towards the window, this will point towards the new object which is created. The new object which is created now, if I just console.log this, then this will give me, this keyword will give me the corresponding values with over which I have created person or object p1, right? So now, like in the previous examples, this keyword was referring to window because there was no external binding or there was no constructor binding which was happening there. But in this case, we are doing the constructor binding, and because of this constructor binding, we are getting this keyword equal to the new object which we are creating because of this constructor. Now it will not point to window anymore, it will point towards a new object. And if you will just console.log the values with this, then you will get the corresponding values over which the object p1 is being made. And similarly, you can make many objects. I'm not able to make it right now because of some browser problem, but I'm sure the code is right, and the other person is also trying it or has tried it, so he's sure that things are getting right. So you guys can try it this way. Along with that, I'll tell you about the different bindings which are with us, different bindings, this bindings which are present with us, right? So we have basically implicit binding, we have explicit binding, uh, explicit binding, we have new keyword binding which we just did, right? Implicit, explicit, new keyword binding, and there is one more default binding, but like you can like check on MTN and read it about, right? So if I explain in a nutshell, then like just for example, if I'm making an object, I'm making an object like let object is equal to, this is how we make an object, right? And these are the properties which I give: key value pair, like key and a value pair. Just for your ease, Baki, you have to start it from the MTN because I've like explained the nutshell, explained the bit of it, right? If I'm creating an object like this, right? I'm creating an object like this, and if I'll simply console log the value of this somewhere, right? Console log the value of this keyword will now point towards our like the window thing over which the object is being created, and inside that explicit function, what we basically do is we simply we simply let that happen. We simply make it by our conventional thing that now this keyword will be pointing towards some other object or some other stuff wherein its natural behavior is not pointing, right? So if we take for example, right, if I'm making a function, these are just for a basic function and just example so that you can relate when once you'll be reading or getting to know about it, right? So if I'll be making a basic function, right, this is how I can make a function. If I'll simply write console dot log this here, right, now this will refer to the window here in this example. This will refer to the window. But if I'll make one object here, right, if I'll make an object, let's assume I'm giving it a value of L is equal to 10, M is equal to 10, any value I can give. I made an object here. This is my function and this is my object. So if now what I'll do, I'll use something which is called call, right? This call is the method by which we can bind things explicitly. So I want to bind my fun function, right? I'll bind my fun function. I want to bind my fun function with which object? I want to bind it with the object A. But since I have used this call binding, then I need to send the parameters at the same time. Which parameters? Just name and age. So I'll write my Sam here and I'll write my age here, right? So this is how you you can do the call binding here. Similarly, we have different type of explicit binding. One of them is done by the call, and others are done by this bind keyword, right? So I guess these two are more than enough. Don't to go beyond this. These are like way more than enough for you to use. Generally, bindings are not asked or not required, but it's just if someone asks you in the interview. So do study about them, about the binding uh, from MDN. Or I'll this time prefer you to go with some video stuff, because this is something which you need a hands-on along with it, right? So do study about binding, and I gave you the headings of binding, like what all topics are there inside the binding, right? So this is something which you should like prefer uh, watching it from somewhere else, right? Prefer watching it from somewhere else. Okay, I guess this is not that which we should like carry forward now. Okay, so now we'll know something about arrow functions. I guess these are the last or second last topic about which are present inside our JavaScript, right? Very basic thing. I'll let you know about Java or arrow functions, right? So till now, what we guys were doing is let's go back to the coding stuff again. Let us make an object. Sorry, let us make a folder. The name of the folder is arrow functions index.html app.js. Inside this, I'm simply attaching stuff and giving it a heading of arrow functions, right? If I simply save it and inspect, right? Okay. So till that time, what we were doing previously, that we were using function expressions, right? What were function expressions? That the entire function is being allotted to some constant variable towards some value variable, right? So let's assume I'm creating a constant variable with the name of fun only, and I'm creating a function. Just say, I'm just creating a function expression right now, right? The function expression can or cannot have the name of the function. That is like anonymous function in this case. I'm not giving the name, so it is anonymous function. I don't know why this document is running till now. Okay, yeah, anonymous function. So what I'll do is I'll simply write a small functionality that I am inside function, right? I'll simply write this way. If I'll go down and if I'll run my fun function, not func, it's fun, sorry. If I run my fun function, then yes, I can get the value of like the console value which I have been written inside my function availability, right? Okay, so this was my basic anonymous function, which was derived from the function expression, right? So, but now we are about to study about arrow functions, right? Now, what is the difference between a normal function and an arrow function? Let's see it up here. Now, if I directly like remove this keyword function from here, and after this circular brackets, I'll give it an arrow out there, right? I'm not giving the name. I'm simply removing the function keyword, the function word which was present there. And let me change the value of this function as well. I'm making it funny and removing this value function and simply giving it an arrow after the braces, right? So this is basically called as my arrow function, or I would change the value of like I'm inside arrow. And if I run it this way, then let's see, are we able to get the values or not? Yes, we are able to uh, get the inside arrow value, which was there inside my function. Or let's see it with one more example. That, for example, I want to make a addition function, and what I can do it that way is like I can uh, add the functions, right? But I won't use the keyword function here. I'll simply, let's assume whenever I'll be calling, I want to, like, let's say I want to add this 4 and 5, right? So I'll be accepting the parameters which I gave as an argument here. So I'll be like giving any of the parameters here. And now the functionality, everything will be the same. Like every functionality will be the same. The way of writing function will be the same. Only this function word will be replaced by this arrow. I would say arrow. Yeah, this function word will be replaced by the arrow, and we can also like manipulate here the values. Like I can say, okay, console dot log me the value of x plus y, which are the arguments which are present with me, and Okay, I can do it this way. Then I'm getting nine as my answers, right? So I can simply either like return the value, or I can console it log. That totally depends on me. Uh, so like I think arrow function is the way of writing arrow function is this way. Like I'll be explaining a bit more right now. So have you removed breakpoints in your code? Oh, I got it now. I guess Kushagar Gupta is right. I think I made breakpoints in my code. That's why the code was not executing entirely. Thanks, Kushagar. That was the reason. Okay, great. But okay, that topic is gone. You have to like you can explore it from your end as well. So is the like basic syntax of arrow function clear? Like I'm just talking about the basic syntax right now. I need to tell you some more things in it, right? Is this basic syntax is clear, that simply removing the keyword function and assigning the arrow in front of it? Is it clear that how we assign a basic arrow function? Like okay. This was easy, not something which is like confusing for you guys, but something confusing for you is coming now. Uh, as you can say, I'm simply like I can console the value, or I can simply return the value. I can do both the things, right? I can return the value as well here. So let's assume I'm saving it in a variable as well. I'm saving it in a variable. Let's say let answer is equal to the function which I'm calling right now. I can save it that way. This is the same function. This is the same function which I have written earlier, which I wrote earlier, and simply be consoling along the value of answer, which I have assigned to the variable right now. So now what variation can we make inside our arrow function, right? So I can see that only a single, not a single right now, only one single line is being returned, and there is nothing else which is like, I would say, um, like nothing else to be printed or nothing else to be manipulated here. So inside my arrow function, I can remove my curly braces if I'm having just one line to be executed. And let's see, am I able to get the answer or not? Console dot log answer. Like let's see this answer 0 nine answer. Just a second. Answer. Again, why return expected to return? So I can remove this return keyword as well. Just a second. I forgot to return. Right. If only one thing is being returned or one thing is being manipulated over my function, then I can do what thing? If I compare this code, the above code, which I've highlighted right now, along with this code, is that I can remove my return keyword here as well. This return keyword can also be removed. Along with that, this curly braces can also be removed. This is a small change which occurs when only one thing is to be manipulated or only one functionality is there inside your arrow function. Let's assume I'm creating one more arrow function by this way only, right? This way only. Let me remove the entire thing. Let's say I'm creating arrow function, and I'm assigning. I'll definitely have to assign it with some values because I don't have the name of the function here. So let's say I'm making it let Nagarro. Let Nagarro is equal to my arrow function, and inside my arrow function, I'm having like let's say just one parameter, right? Just one parameter. What I'll do, I'll use the square root function here, right? I'll simply return the math.sqrt of the number which is being sent above, right? This is what I'll write a function right now. This is what I'll be writing. So I'll be calling the value of Nagarro, right? NAGA. I'll be calling simply, where is it? NAGARRO, and I'll be sending it with a value, let's say 4, and I'll be assigning it to some of the variable. I'll again make a answer variable here, and I'll simply be consoling the value of answer, console.log answer. Then what I'm getting 2. The square root of the parameter which I've sent here is 4, so the square root of answer is 2. Okay, this was my normal arrow function. Then what manipulation can I create in this as well, right? I know that I am having just one return statement, so I can remove this return keyword. Great. I can remove this curly parenthesis as well. Great. And if like we want to indent it properly, we can bring it to the same line. Also, if I have just one parameter with me, I can remove this parenthesis as well. Let's assume I'm changing the value of 4 to 9. uh, and again consoling the value of answer, then yes, I'm getting the answer as 3. So what I'm getting from here is that whenever I'm using an arrow function, if I'm having just one parameter, then it is not compulsory for me to make that circular, like this, to make this I would say braces there, this sorry, parenthesis there, like the being inside the parenthesis is not compulsory if only one parameter is present with you, or I would say if only one uh, yeah, only one parameter or argument is there with you, right? Is this the advanced, like this is something which makes your code little pretty, right? It just makes your code little pretty. There is nothing to do with the different functionality. It's just like if you want to make your code little pretty, or you just uh, want some of the small functionalities to be shown with less amount of code to be written, right? So this is why you use like arrow function in a design way, right? So these are basically syntactical sugar things which I told you, right? I'm giving you example here. Uh, Let function is equal to, this is how we do it, right? I am simply return x into right? And let answer is equal to uh, the fun function which you are calling, and console.log answer, right? This is the longer way of writing it, right? This is the generic way of writing it. Generic way, I would say. But if I try to write in a, I would say in a shorter way, in a syntactical sugar way, syntactical sugar are something like I would say show off or less labor work, less labor work. These are just syntactical sugars to make your code little, to look little pretty, right? To make your code pretty. That's why. So what I can do now is everything will be same, but only if one parameter is there, then there is no need to write parenthesis x, simply this. And I know there was only just one statement, so I'll say I'll remove the parenthesis and remove this return keyword. I'll simply say n into n, and that's it. This is like the replacement of the above example, above example, uh, this function, and then again this let answer is equal to fun and console.log of answer, right? This was something which uh, it's something unique, I guess. This is a little good way of writing the code. It is it just used when you have one or two lines of code now? Just one line which you are like returning, and one manipulation is there. Anushi, clear, okay. Okay, great. Yes, sir, clear. Alanka, great man. So just read about this arrow functions as well. These arrow functions are something which you will be like majorly using in your like coding stuff whenever you will be coding, right? So just one thing keep in mind, right? Just one thing which is really important for interview point of view is like just focus here. Just remember this line. Whenever we are working with the arrow functions, right? Even if I'm writing my arrow function inside a object, or even if I'm writing my arrow function inside a constructor or anything, I'm making a constructor and writing my arrow function, I'm making an object, or I'm writing my arrow function there, right? Arrow function will always bind this keyword towards your window, right? Arrow functions, I'm writing it down. Arrow functions always bind this keyword, this keyword with window, right? This is an exception, and this is like something which is mostly asked in the interviews, like as a fresher level as well, and as well as whenever you'll be like applying for different like working in on Nagarro as well, right? So arrow functions are something which will always be binding this keyword with your window rather than binding it with the new keyword, or by binding it with some other object wherein with which you have created the object, right? So just keep in mind and always remember this. And of course, uh, do refer MDN for this. This binding and arrow functions are little important for the usage stuff. Binding is not important for the usage stuff, just for the interview part, but this arrow function is important for the usage stuff. You will be making functions with using arrow functions, right? So just get your concepts clear with it. I gave you a nutshell. So just figure it out and read about them from MDN and different positions from where you can get the resources, right? Okay, so I think we should take a break of 2 minutes. After 2 minutes or maximum 3-4 minutes, we'll be starting forward with a new topic, or I would say the last topic for JavaScript. After that, we'll be doing DOM, or I think we can no, we'll be starting with Dom in the next class. We have 2 or 3 more things to share. Not the last topic, but of course, like we'll be studying for 1 hour. We'll be covering JavaScript today itself, and then we'll be starting with Dom from the next class. Right? Let's have a break of, I would say, 2-3 minutes, and after 2-3 minutes, we'll start back things again. Right? Till that time, you can explore about arrow functions and all. Right? Explore arrow functions till that time. Okay. I feel that we are good to start again. Hope so. Your water break was enough. Okay, so uh, this is all about arrow functions. So tell me one thing. Like we are studying JavaScript, right? I am asking you 1 or 2 questions regarding JavaScript that just let me know about the answers if someone will ask you. Like, is my JavaScript weakly typed or strongly typed? Is my JavaScript, I would say, synchronous or asynchronous or asynchronous? And how many threads are present inside my JavaScript? Are there 3 threads? Are there 2 threads, 4 threads, or 1 threads? And is it statically typed or dynamically typed? Right, statically or dynamically? Right. Tell me the answer of all the 4 questions inside your chat box, please. These are the questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Write it in this order only, right? Weakly, strongly, synchronous, asynchronous. How many threads are there? The question is regarding threads. How many threads? Threads do we have? Do we have? And is it statically or dynamically typed? Let's see. Okay, many of you have given the answer quite fast. Asynchronous, synchronous, asynchronous, synchronous. Okay, so it is basically a mixture of both the answers. Only one place is there where everyone is getting stuck is either it is synchronous or asynchronous. Wait. Abhishek, one thing is wrong. Archit, I don't know about the rest of your answers, but this answer is right. Keshav, you've not answered one thing. And Abhishek, okay, Abhay is saying synchronous. Great, Abhay. And okay, wait. Okay, so not sure about threads. Acha, wait. You are still answering, right? Dipanshu, weekly synchronous. Great, Amisha. Uh, Gaurav, great man. Great, Amisha. Ayushi, one thing is wrong. Rest are right. Okay. Let's see. It's okay that if you like were wrong at one place, but that's quite fine. Now you know the answer. JavaScript is weakly typed, synchronous, single-threaded, and dynamically typed programming language, right? This single threaded you can easily learn. Okay, there is only one thread, and just make sure our JavaScript is a synchronous programming language. How and why? I'll just let you know with the code and example, right? But make sure our JavaScript is a synchronous. Great, Akshat. Great, Akshat. Uh, Abhay, I won't say that you are wrong, but if someone will ask you that is it either synchronous or asynchronous, then you have to say that JavaScript is a synchronous programming language because it is having just one thread. So you can't say it's asynchronous programming language, but it can behave asynchronically. That we'll see like in a coming examples, right? So okay, I'll do one thing. I'll make a folder. Synchronous, synchronous. And inside synchronous I'll be making index.html and app.js. Again app.js. JavaScript is synchronous. PL stands for programming language. Okay, great. If I'll save and comment this, I can get it this way. Okay, so what we'll do now, let's assume okay, how is it synchronous? Let's see it this way first. Okay, I'm making a function. The name of my function is the fun. Again, fun. Inside my fun function, I am writing it like console.log. Hello. Wait a second now. Console.log. Hello. I am synchronous. Right. Hello, I am synchronous. Ignore the spelling. Uh, I'm synchronous. Ignore it. Right. Along with that, oh, just a second. Along with that, I'm writing console.log end here, and if I copy this and paste it above and say console.log start here, what is the output? What is the expected output in this case? Like what is the expected output if I just wait, yeah. If I just call my fun function, I've not called it yet, but no worries. If I call my fun function here, then what is the expected output? Can we prove it is that is what we are starting right now, Abhishek. So don't worry. Start hello end. Okay, just tell me the output to this. Like what will be the output to this code? Take 10-20 seconds and tell me. 20 seconds for this question is enough. Now I guess it's start hello I am TK. Start synchro end. What is synchro? अच्छा synchronous मैंने लिखा होगा उसके अंदर ठीक है hello I am hello. Okay, great. Everyone is right. If I want to check, then yes, start hello I am synchronous and end. this shows that okay, the flow of our code is from top to down, and what if I want to like run this function after my end? So I'll simply change the value of it. I'll simply call my fun function and switch it to, like, let's say behind this. Now this functionality will be start and end synchronous. This is how, why, because function is being called after both the console values are being like shown or printed on the area. Like, what if now I want in the previous example only, in this example only, I want this hello, I'm a synchronous function, this content to come like after, I would say, after a delay of 3 seconds. That after 3 seconds this synchronous should come, and like I want to wait for 3 seconds. I want to create a delay of 3 seconds. Then how can I do it? Is like something which we'll be seeing right now. Okay, how we can do it? We'll be seeing it just right now. Okay, so what I can do is let's assume I'm again creating a function and fun. Now I have to escape it first. I have to escape it first. Yeah, function fun. And what if now I want to say that I am inside my console.log. I'm inside fun function, right? I'm inside fun. Okay, great. I'm inside fun, and let's say I'm creating a delay, right? I'm creating a delay, so there is no way inside our JavaScript to create a delay uh, except the way I'm like showing you. Like this is the only way to create a delay with JavaScript. Again, with JavaScript only, right? So what I'm doing is I'm creating a delay function. I'm creating a delay function here. What will this delay function consist inside it is like uh, I'll be like I'll be using one object. There is an object named as new date which is present with us. This is basically an object, new date. What it does, it basically tells me the time, right? Let's assume I'm ignoring this line right now. Just a second now. New date if I'll just copy this stuff, just a second. If I'll just copy this stuff and I'm writing like new date and I'm calling this function, then you can see that my console is giving me the present date as well as the time according to my locale. Like what is locale? Locale is something which your computer reads the location of yours as well as at what position and what things or conventions are being followed. Like we are following IST, right? So this is being tracked by the locale of our computer. So according to the locale, we are getting the date, time, as well as the month, all the details. Sorry, really sorry. Right. So I'm using the same thing here. I'm making a function. The name of the function is fun. I'm simply saying the writing that I'm inside my fun. So this date function will give me the current date, right? But I don't want the exact date. I just want the exact time right now. So I do have a method inside my object date. I have a method. This get time is the basically method which is present inside my object. Or what is object? Object is this date. So if I'll like okay, I'll show you this again. If I copy this stuff and remove it, if I am getting new date comma get uh, time, if I'm getting this, then I'll simply get the time in seconds, right? These are the seconds which have been passed from the time being we have started noting the time, right? From 1970, right? There's a convention or there is like the people who are around there. Okay, then how can we calculate the time? How much time has been passed till now till date, right? So as a convention, those physicists and those great I would say philosophers, what they did is they started calculating the time from 1st January 1970 until from that day till now the time is being calculated. If I just calculate the same function again, then you can see there's a change right now that these many seconds have been changed from the milliseconds have been changed from the moment I executed both the terms, right? So this is what we get with the get time, right? Okay, so if I want to create a delay, then I can say that okay, whatever time my function gets executed or whatever time I want my uh, function to be executed, if I want a delay of 1000 seconds, then I'll be simply adding a variable of 1000 to the current time, so that after 1000 or 2000 milliseconds I can execute a function, right? Just for instance, if you are guys a little confused in this, just for instance, what we were getting right now with the new date is, right, new date comma get time, right? If I'll be executing this function, it will give me the current time, right? I'll be getting the current time. Let's assume I'm giving it a like a variable x. Okay, so this x is the current time at whatever portion or at whatever moment this function was being called. I'll be writing it inside a function, right? Whatever moment this function is being called, us time pe, whatever the time is being, it will be stored towards the variable x. Okay, so if I want a delay of 200 seconds, then I'll say that if let's say if my or I would say while jab tak mera time like time is the like this statement again, jab tak this current time over which I'm working right now is less than this x plus, let's say I want to create a delay of 2000 milliseconds, right? That is 2 seconds. Till the time my current time is less than x plus, that is the stored time plus the delay I want to create, till it is less than that, then the function will not work. After this time is like greater than uh, the condition over which we have shown, then only it will work. Then I can say that yes, I created a delay of 2 seconds, right? I can say that I've created a delay of 2 seconds. First, let me know, is it clear to you that how are we able to create a delay right now? Is date a constructor function? No, date is basically an object which is present with us. It's not a constructor function. It's an object. Are you like getting how we are like able to create a delay, or how we are able to like by this way, by using this date function, how can I access a delay of 2 seconds or how many seconds, whatever I want? Like, is it clear, or do I need to explain it again? Then why we are using new keyword? Okay, sorry. Now I got it. Your question. Okay, great. This date is a constructor function which is present with us, and inside this constructor function, now I got it. Okay, I just got confused with your question first, right? Construct everything which starts with a new keyword, everything which starts with a new keyword, that is a constructor. Along with that, if you see it properly, right, the D of that date is starting with the capital letter, right? That is singular as well as the capital letter. Great, yeah. Alankar, you asked this question, right? Yeah. I just got confused at what is your question, so I gave it the answer that way. So it's a constructor function. That's where we're using new as well as the capital letter of it there, and we have a method of get time and different methods inside the date, right? Get time and let's say get month, get day, and all these functions are there. So that's why I did like it. Aditya asked this question or Alankar? Alankar, great. Acha, ignore that, Sang. Let it be an object, let it be a constructor, hardly matters. Just get the way how you do it. Are you like able to get the point that how we are able to create a delay of 2 seconds? Like how are we using the time and asking my loop to just wait for the delay as well as the current time which we noted in this variable? Is it clear to you guys that how are we creating a delay? Let me know that, else I'll have to like re-explain if is it not clear that much. But this is important for you to understand. Yeah, and you repeat once. Okay, that you should have like uh write in the chat box earlier as well. Okay, I'll be little neat while explaining now. Focus again here, right? Focus again here. I want to create a delay. What I'm doing is uh if somehow I get the current time with me, like the current time with me, and I want that after adding 3000 milliseconds in my current time, after 3 seconds passing my current time, then I want to perform some function, right? Then I want to perform some function, or I want to do some task. This means current time was there, and after 3 seconds getting passed from the current time, then I want my function to be activated or the task to be activated, right? So I can say that yes, I have created a delay of 3000 seconds. Now is it clear? Now is it clear? Can you explain delay again? Yeah. Is it clear now, or like should I be little more precise? Okay, so great. So this is something like, okay, I used my new date and the get time method to get the current time, and I simply stored it to a variable, right? I stored it to a variable, yes, x. And what is this variable x consisting inside it? It is consisting the current time when this function fun is called, right? This functionality is being written inside a function So whenever this function will be run at the same time, all the things which are present inside it, they'll go towards the call stack, and the call stack will start running. And just at that time, this new date will dot get time, whatever value is whatever time is being shown by the browser or shown by the internet, that will be stored in the value of x. And if I'll create a delay of 5 seconds, that is 5,000 milliseconds, till that time nothing will be happening because I've created a delay, and the only way to create a delay in JavaScript is this only, right? So till that time, I'll like stop doing anything, and after this time gets up, then I'll be like doing the functionality whatever I want. I hope so. Now it is a bit clear, right? Okay, great. Everyone is saying clear. Then it's good for you to understand now. Okay, so let's create the function again. The function is there and inside fun. Then I'm creating a delay function. And how am I getting this delay function? Let's see it this way. Whatever time I'll be getting from it, I'll be saving it in a value of x. Let x is equal to this. This is what I told. Okay. After that, if I want, okay, I want it to have a delay of, let's say, 1 second. Right? I want it to be having a delay of 1 second. So I'll be using this while condition while my x, while my sorry, the current, I'll be taking the current date as well, right? While this date again is whenever it is being calculated is I would say smaller than let's assume I'm making a delay of 2 milliseconds, right? 2000 plus this x, right? Again, the same thing. I've created a delay unless this current time which is being provided to me is less than 200 2000 milliseconds delay plus the current time which we calculated while opening this function delay, right? Till that time, this while will not work because the value of here will be false. Once this new dot get time exceeded or passed the time 2 seconds after this x value, then we can perform the function, right? Then what we want to do, we just want a delay, so that's why we are not doing anything. And let's assume after that I'll be like calling my fun function, and let's say um, after that I'll be calling my fun function, and I guess that's okay. I'll use the start as well and end as well so that it looks a bit better, right? I'll be writing console.log start, and I'll be writing the same way console.log of end. And let's say the start or end are like uh, in between this delay function. I need to call the delay function, right? Then only it will be executed, right? So, okay, according to your knowledge, what is the possible output to the code, right? According to your knowledge, what is the possible output from your side? According to knowledge, what is the possible output? Yes, sir, clear. Acha, take 1 minute, think properly. What is the proper output, and like any explanation you want to give about regarding it, right? What will be the output? Tell me that first, and write it in the chat box. Take a minute, think, and then tell the answer. Also, like I'll be copy pasting this code. I know this is little confusing for many of you, but once you'll practice it, once you will work over it, then things will be clear to you, right? Synchronous, I'll be like simply commenting it out for a betterment, right? Okay. What is the output to this? What is the output to this? Start inside fund end, start inside fund end after two. Great, Mohit. Uh, start 2 seconds, wait, end. Okay. Start. Great. Let's see. Most of you are right. Let's see. Right. Uh, identifier. Wait, identifier is not there now. Console.log start. Delay is there. Delay max is there. What is it showing now? Oh, so I think I made the function fun. I'll just simply change the value. I don't know is it early present or not. I'll simply change the value fun to funny. Funny is there, great funny is there, and function delay is there. I've called delay, and I guess now it should work. Syntax error. Hold on, I'll copy paste it.
Samarth, you
Again.
haven't write anything inside while loop.
So that does not matter because I don't want any functionality to occur, right? I want after 2 seconds my fun function to start, and inside the fun function I've written this inside fun, right? Again, I guess this is my browser issue. I'll just switch it to my app.js.
So the starting parenthesis is missing over there.
Just a second, I am not able to hear you properly. Just a second, I'm trying it this way. Function fun is there, function one delay is there. I've created two functions. Okay, great. Okay, great, man, great. You were saying this thing, right? Great. Okay, now it'll work. I got the error. Now it'll work. A small parenthesis error was there. So let's do it again and let's see. And it's showing start, and there is a delay, right? If you see that the answers were not getting like on the perfect timing, like if I'll do it again, just observe it. Start is being already there. Now it's waited for like 2 seconds, and then after 2 seconds, inside for an end came immediately, right? So this is how we can create a delay of whatever time we want, or uh, like uh, what happens basically is, let's assume whenever you go to a website, right, there is possibility that you can download the PDFs there, or you can like uh, over the Instagram, whenever you just load things, then it takes time, right? So is it a good functionality, or is it a good way that till the time your your photo is being posted or your PDF is being downloaded, is it a good practice that other functionalities should also stop it that way? Because it is happening here, because the function delay was created. Till that time, n should have been worked, or n should have, like, as just a good practice, n should have been like printed priorly earlier, and then this inside function or whatever the functionality was being done, this should like work, right? Or for a better example, let's do one thing. Let's create a button as well here for better understanding. I'm creating a button. I'm saying click me, right? I'm saying click me. Uh, let's start it in a better way. So once I'll enter, right? Once I'll enter, I'll start clicking my click button. Let's see, is there anything which I'll be able to do, right? I've started. I'm clicking, but no, I was not able to click it. You can see I was not able to click it. Now I'm able to click. You can see that there is like uh, a change in color because of clicking is being shown. If I show you again, let's see it and observe it properly. Right. If I'll press enter and click it, then the color would not be changed. That is, I won't be able to like click my button, and this URL will be like keep on scrolling until my call stack gets empty. Right. I'm not able to click anything, and now once all the things get executed, then I'm able to click on my button. Right. So this basically what it does is this shows us that JavaScript is having just a single thread, right? JavaScript is having just a single thread until unless you have like, this is my first function which we encountered, this is my second function which we encountered, this is my third function, right? Let's just assume until unless you are done with all the parts of the third function, until unless you are done with all the things which we need to do in the third function, this second function would not work, this first function would not work until unless this above function is being like completely finished, even if it takes like eternity time or any amount of time, right? Any amount of time. So according to JavaScript, till now JavaScript is single thread. There is no thread, that's why only one function at a time, single thread. And synchronous because it is like moving from top to down synchronously, and there is no like, I would say there is no change in the order of execution of the code, right? Till now things are clear that why we are calling it asynchronous. Till now things are clear, even after you don't have, I just noticed it later. That was a small mistake that happens, right? While loop में कुछ आएगा नहीं यार, it's simply like I just wanted to create a delay, Simran. So that's why I can write that that's totally up to me, but I just wanted a delay, so that's why I want nothing to happen at that time. So just I've kept it empty. That's it. uh, is it clear till now that why and how is JavaScript called asynchronous? Oh, sorry, synchronous programming language till now, because it is having one thread, and until unless this call sec whatever function it is executing, and until unless that function gets executed to the fullest, you cannot switch to the next function or towards the next stack, right? Clear. Okay, that's great, right? So to tackle this problem, and uh, to tackle this problem, or I would say to the betterment of this, or to make Like this is something which is not a good practice, right? So in order to make our JavaScript work asynchronously, our browser has some superpowers, right? Our browser, again, I'm saying browser, not JavaScript engine. Our browser has some superpowers. What are those superpowers? I'll just pen down those names. Like some of them, not all. There are like huge amount of superpowers which are there. Superpowers of the functions, functionalities. I'm just calling them as superpowers. Let's say one of them is like set timeout. This is the way which we can create a delay. We have set interval with us, set interval. We have, let's say, our local storage. I'm just telling the name. You guys can like go Google it. I'll be explaining about few of them here only. And we also have this like fetch. What is fetch? If I want some data from some player, some other position, right? So my browser is responsible for it, not my JavaScript. As well as we have the access to the location, we have access to um, local storage is there. We have a document object as well, right? We have the entire document objects inside our browser, right? There are some of the functionalities which one more. Okay, tell me one thing. Is my like whatever I write here, this console.log and this console.log stuff, I print something, right? Is this a browser superpower or is it some functionality? Is single thread and synchronous same thing? See, synchronous is like the order cannot be changed until unless you are like creating or doing it explicitly by some of the superpowers which will be coming, which will be seeing in the like coming 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And single thread is like you can just perform one function at a time, right? Right now, whatever machine you are using, they are having like 4 cores, octa cores, and multi threads, 8 threads are there. So you can like switch from one tab to another. You can open Facebook, and at the same time you can run YouTube ads, right? So different threads are responsible for working different functionalities over your machine, right? So more the number of threads will be there, so more the number of functions you can perform in your machine, as well as more the fast things will work, and you will not be like dependent on the other thread for it to finish the task and get another task on the same position, right? So this is basically the purpose of thread. I would say because of this thread thing, the synchronicity is coming, right? So they're not the same thing, they have different meaning, but because of one of the other, like they're interlinked but not the same thing. Now is it clear? Like just system design, or I would say system design, not system design, it's in operating system. Yeah, it's in operating system. If you like read inside the operating system, or like if you ever heard it in your, I don't know about your stream and all. If you have heard it in your syllabus in computer science, operating system is there. So you must have heard about threads as well as different things there, right? So threads ka knowledge you can take it from there or from a small MDN Google, whatever you want, right? Don't go to MDN for this. Just read about that in Google, right? So more the number of threads, the better will be the performance of your machine, and the more function you'll be able to do in less amount of time, and there will not be any, I would say, not miscommunication. There won't be any waiting for the other function to like get ended and executed, right? Hope so. This is clear. Acha, my question was different. Like, is console.log property of my JavaScript engine or my superpower of browser? Like, just type browser or JavaScript so that I'll get to know about your answers. Like, it is for sure one of them. I don't know which one of them. I want you guys to tell me first. Is it the property of JavaScript or is it the property of my superpower of my browser? This console.log JS engine. Okay, Alanka JS engine. What about others? Yeah, what about others? Just let me know about your opinions. A hit and try can also work. There is no nothing like you need to know about the answers. Hit and try can also work. Browser JS. I want more answers. Yeah, it's like very less people are taking part in it, right? Browser, JS, browser, JavaScript. Great, man, great. Okay. So some of you are right and some of you are wrong as well. Okay. So I just told you about superpower of browser, right? So this console is also a superpower of my browser only, right? So all these functionalities which we are able to see and which are able to perform this console is because of my browser, not because of my JavaScript engine, right? So if someone will ask you that is my console a property of JavaScript or a browser, then you have to answer him that this is the browser like superpower by which we can perform different things and by which we are basically uh, doing our consoling stuff, right? So I guess these are enough for you to know about fetch. Okay, so we have APIs as well. How can I forget APIs? So APIs are basically the endpoints which most of you are aware of and we discussed priorly as well. So APIs are also superpowers of our browser, right? So I would say, yeah, we were coming over the asynchronity, right? Asynchronicity of our, like, how can we create it asynchronous and how can we like uh, make things access, right? So all these things, right? I just said that all these things are power of my browser, right? So all these things are present inside my window object. All these things are present inside my window object. Object window we just saw previously with the binding of this, right? So let me just okay, I'll copy this stuff for you guys. I don't know have I pasted it there. I'll copy and paste it there for you. I'm removing it. I'm pasting it here and right. Okay. So this is about creating a delay, right? This was about creating a delay with pure JavaScript. With pure JavaScript only without using any superpower. Just oh, what have I written? Without using any superpower. Right. Now is like synchronous thing is completed, so I'll be making one more folder for your, I would say, uh, asynchronous things, right? Asynchronous, and after that I'll be making two files and app.js, right? Boilerplate script. Just a second. Okay, okay. Sorry for this. Yeah, I was creating this app.js. Now I'm writing asynchronous behavior of JavaScript. Okay, cool. If I'll do this way, then let's see. Okay, so I just said that all these superpowers are present inside my browser, and I can access them using this object named as window object. So I can see it if I just console.log window, or I'll simply write window inside my console. Then I can see that there are many functions here, right? There are many functions out of which I told you that okay, there is local storage, okay, there is document object also there, right? So this is the document object which is there, which has the access of location, right? I wrote location this place and I wrote about document object this place. So you can see the document is there, location is there. And if we go towards a little more depth, then location is present here as well. Along with that, if we find different things, set timeout, it must be present here as well. Yeah, see, the set timeout is there, the set interval is there. All these things which were like discussed in this place are all parts of my like or binded towards my window, right? So if I simply write window again, then I can see that okay, all these things are there, like location is being shown here as well as document object is there, right? So like all the superpowers are there, and in order to access the superpowers we basically have to use the window object, right? We have to use the window object. So I would say this all the superpowers are in accumulation called as web APIs, right? So all the superpowers which my browser is having, all the superpowers, not only this, even after that, these all are known as web APIs, right? Either call them superpowers or call them web APIs. They are like the same thing, right? Uh, just the name, hardly matters. Name does not matter. It's just about how you use them, right? That's okay. So uh, we'll see two examples there, and I guess then it's more than enough for us to understand with that. Uh, I just said that we need a window object to use our um, like different superpowers, right? So I'll simply use this set timeout. I said that we cannot create a delay with JavaScript, right? So we can create a delay with the browser key web API. So this is how we do it. We'll simply use the set timeout function. What it'll accept a callback function along with the delay. It'll accept two parameters, right? One is the function, any of the function, like whether it be callback or whether it not be callback, it hardly matters. And along with that, the second argument will be the amount of delay you want to create. Let's assume I want to create a delay of 3,000 milliseconds. That is 3 seconds, right? So I want to create a function, and just a second here. And I want to I want a delay of 3 seconds, right? And what is to be printed there is let's say console.log. I am able to print delay, right? Let's see. Then 3 is coming. Why is this 3 coming? And after this like delay of 3 seconds, which was there, then it gave me uh, the output whatever I was writing. Like let's assume I'm giving it a delay of 6 milliseconds, right? So fourth time I'm using this set timeout, and then it gave me a delay sign. What is this 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So let us uh, like ignore it for the moment. This 1, 2, 3, 4 is not necessary for you to understand right now. It's just about how you create a delay, right? If I want to give a delay of 1 second only, then fifth time you're using it, and you're getting a delay of 1 millisecond there. So this is how you create a set timeout delay, right? So I would say that JavaScript, no, not JavaScript, browser is the remarkable invention of humankind. Like the best thing a human can do is to create something browser. So we'll just recap our previous example, but this time by using our uh, superpower, right? So I simply used a start function, right? I used a start function, and then I created a function, right? But now I want this to be run after this a delay, a timeout, right? So I'll be making it a timeout, and I'll be accepting two parameters inside it. One will be a function. I can use my callback function as well. I can use anything. It totally depends on me and my me and my preferences. So I'll be simply giving two parameters. One of them is the function, another is the delay I want to create in it. Let's assume I'm giving it console.log, and I'm saying that I'm using my callback function. Hardly matters whatever I write. And after this delay, I want console.log end. Console.log, sorry, console.log of end. And let's see. I've not, console is not a function. Wait, I'll just copy paste it. I'll refresh it this way. I don't know why these things are occurring today and what all small mistakes I'm making.
So in the first line,
Console.log. I'm sorry. I just noticed I've not written console.log. This happens when you are not in your 100% senses. So it's okay. Right. See, I get start, end, and after a delay of 3 seconds, I'm getting my call back. Did you just notice that I got some asynchronous behavior from my JavaScript code? How asynchronous? According to the code, I should have written start, then I should have been printed start, then waited for 3 seconds and printed callback, and immediately printed end, just like the synchronous behavior which we created by ourselves, the delay which we created by ourselves. But if I'm using this browser API, this web API, this superpower, then what is happening again is, let's see and run it again. Let's assume after 5 seconds, right? After 5 seconds, if I want, then start and end are immediately being printed, and we are still waiting for that callback function to run. And see, now we are able to run this callback function. Now let's see why is it happening, and what is basically behind the scenes which is working for it, right? Okay, so this is my call stack. Everybody knows what a call stack is. This is my call stack. Okay, so let's assume what was my code. Let me just copy paste my code from here. let me just copy paste my code from here and I'll paste it this way, right? Ignore the indentation part if you're not happy with it, but okay. So what I'm doing here is initially what will happen, this is my console, like this is where I'll be printing out things. This is my console and this is one more thing. I'll not name it right now. I'll tell you after I'll be like done with the stuff, right? Uh, the first line encountered is this inside my console, start will be printed. Then I created a set timeout. What is set timeout? Set timeout is a browser web API or web API which is present inside a browser, right? So the set timeout function is run, but it is having a delay of 500 seconds. So this set timeout function is being stored in a position or is being stored inside some other stack, right? Inside some other stack which is called callback queue, right? Callback queue is called callback queue, right? This set timeout is being waited for its timer to get exited, right? I've started a timer because of this function, right? If it's waiting for its timer to be executed, until that time, since this delay functions are like not delay, I would say this timeout function is being stored inside this callback queue. Why? Because it is still in the waiting stage. It is in the unstaged area. So till that time my call stack is empty and my call stack never remains empty. So now this console dot log also goes inside this and I'm able to see the output end before getting this as my output. And this will only be printed only when this callback, this timer function will be like over this time delay which I've given here is gets over and then this callback queue like uh, the callback queue wants to get empty and send this content which is present inside it towards the call side so that it can be executed because we have just one thread and everything is being executed inside my call stack, right? So we have something called as event loops also, right? We have something called as event loops. Event loops. What is event loops? Event loops constantly see that if my call stack is empty, then what it does, it checks the callback queue. There are few more queues like priority queue and other stuff, but we should not deep dive right now. We should just stick to the same thing. It will check if my call stack is empty. If it is empty, then it'll check my callback queue, that is that anything present inside my callback queue. Also, provided this timer function or whatever superpower which you're using, according to that scenario, the things are done. The time delay of 500, oh sorry, 5000 millisecond is done. So at that time, what this event loop will do, it will take this function, this site timeout function from callback, and it'll send towards the call stack so that this can be executed after 5000 milliseconds, and then we are able to see this callback here. So I guess I asked you to read about event loops as well as callback queue 2 or 3 classes back. I'm not sure, but I think I wrote it in the assignment as well. Is it clear what I just explained? Is it clear to you guys that how we are able to perform asynchronicity of my JavaScript code just by using a superpower, or I would say a web API of my browser? Is it clear? Please let me know. Is it clear? Please others also respond here. This is something which is important for you to know. Here it is doing multi-threading. No, it is not doing multi-threading. It is just acting as a single thread only. But since start and end has been printed, so there is nothing or no more functions to be executed, right? So after this timer of 5000 milliseconds gets end, what my callback or sorry event loop will do is it will take the function outside my callback queue and it will throw it, or I would say it will simply send it towards my call stack because everything is executed because of call stack in our JavaScript. So that's why it is appearing that it is acting like a multi-threading, but it is the property of our JavaScript. Oh, sorry, a browser, not our JavaScript. Our JavaScript is just single-threaded and a synchronous programming language. Is it clear to you? What was your name? Just a second now. Bhumika? Nahi. Alankar. Is it clear to you, Alankar? Is it clear now? Alankar saying yes. Chalo. That's pretty good. That's pretty great. I'm happy things are clear in this way. So we have similar. Have I copy pasted the code? Like I don't know. Like should it be copy pasted? But I think it'll give you a benefit somehow. So I'm just simply doing it. Also we have this was about set timeout, right? We have set interval as well, set time out. These two are little important, so that's why I'm explaining about both of them. Set interval. Set timeout was to create a delay, right? And set interval is to repeat something after a particular given amount of time, right? Set interval is to repeat the same stuff. Let's do it with an example. Again, let's say um, what I can print in my set interval. Okay, I wanted to. Okay, I'll simply create a function like I'll say function fun. I'll simply create a fun function, and what I'll do is I'll simply I would say console log the value there, console dot log the value there, and consoling log my value. Let's say interval. I'm simply writing interval. Now, uh, this is my basic function. This will just simply print the value if I would say if I'll call it somehow. Now I want to use my set interval, right? So I'll be using my set interval as my superpower as my web API. So again, the set interval also accept two things. One is the I would say the function, the callback function, or any kind of function you want to write. And second thing is the like time interval after which you want to repeat your stuff. Okay, let's say I want to repeat things after 2000 milliseconds. So I'll write it this way, and I'll simply copy this function from here and I'll paste it this way because I have to enclose two parameters inside my that interval, right? So it'll tell me or it'll show me interval after 2000 milliseconds, and let's assume is it clear? Okay, let's try this out. Let's try this out here. I'll simply copy it from here. Uh, you will see something. Then you will see. Okay, right. What I'm doing is interval. After 2 seconds, I'm getting interval. After again 2 seconds, I'm getting interval. 2 seconds really, I'm getting interval. Right. So what basically happening here is I'll need to stop the code now, else it will not be stopped. Right. I need to close it up because there are two possibilities to stop this set interval function. One is to use your clear interval. That is one of again. Wait, I'll pen it down here so that you can get to know how can we have learned about set timeout. That is basically the delay accepts two parameter accepts two parameters, and similarly set interval is there, which is basically used for repeating stuff, and which also accepts two parameters. And in order to stop, I would say to stop interval without closing your browser, without closing your browser, sorry, really sorry, without closing a browser is to again use a browser web API that is clear interval, right? We'll see both of them with an example, right? Use clear interval, and let's see how we can basically do 1, 2, 3, right? So let's assume one thing. I've made a function. Uh, where is my function? Where have I written this? Okay, yeah, here have I written, right? I have written my set interval function here, right? Okay. What happened? There was some noise with the video, I guess. That's okay. Let it be. So what I'm doing right now is see, this set interval is basically returning me an ID as well with it. What this set interval does it works the functionality. It creates a like a regular kind of thing. It creates a repeating kind of thing. But at the same time, the set interval also gives me an ID which I can cache, and I can use my clear interval along with that ID to just stop my behaving of this like continuous infinite behaving of my set interval, right? So what I'll do is I'll simply catch my ID of whatever ID the set interval will be like giving me out, right? I'll simply catch that ID and I'll simply try to console that value as well to see that am I getting any ID or not. Let's see. Then yes, I'm getting an ID of 2. If I do it again, I'm getting an ID of 3, getting an ID of 4. The same thing was happening in the previous example, which I was saying that you are not like it's not important for you to know it right now. Okay, so I can see that yes, this interval is working again and again. In order to just stop it, I'll make use of my one more uh, web API, that is interval. Along with that, I'll be giving my ID inside it. I have saved it inside this ID. Then I'll run it. Then okay, create interval ID. I'll give it an ID, right? I gave it an ID, but okay, create interval ID. I need to make it inside the function. Wait. I'll need to make it inside the function. I need to stop it right now. Okay, again, where is my code? Okay, if I do it this way, right? So what I'm doing is I also need to stop. Let's assume I need to stop my code after a particular amount of time, right? After a particular amount of time. So what I'll do is I'll simply assign this console.log value, send interval to some ID first. Let's say I'm assigning it to some ID first, right? And it'll be getting the ID which we saw 234, whatever ID it was getting or whatever thing it was getting, right? So at the same time, now I'll use a function set timeout as well here. Set timeout here, and inside that set timeout, I'll be like giving two parameters. Of course, that two parameters are uh, one is the function, and what we'll be getting inside the function we'll see. And I want it to be happen like after not two, after 4,000 milliseconds. I want to clear this interval, not clear, clear timeout. I want to clear the interval of whatever ID is being given to me. And let ID is this. I have set interval function there, great. And inside the set interval, I'm consoling long any random value. It will repeat it after 202 milliseconds, 2 seconds. Yeah, that is fine. If I want to clear it right now, then I can give it this way. Set timeout add करके and clear additional. I guess it will do it, or else we need to see something else. Right? ID is being given, interval is being shown 2 times. And yes, I'm able to like clear this interval. If I would not have used the set timeout after 4, let's assume I'm doing the same function again, and I am creating an interval of 1,000 milliseconds. Let's see how many times this interval will be printed, right? It's printed 3, it's printed 4. Now after the encounter of the set timeout function, it encountered set timeout function after like 4, a delay of 4 seconds, and after this set timeout runs and the clear interval is being done. That is, the set interval is being allotted to an ID, and clearing that ID, clearing that interval using that ID. Right now, is it clear that how we are doing things? Right, you need to like I'll copy paste it. Just a second. I'll copy paste it here. This is not important. Set interval as well as and clear interval. Right, these two are also the web APIs, or I would say the superpowers. Right. Is it clear? Sir, if we give timeout as 0, would the callback function be called afterwards? Okay, let's see this question, a good question. If we give the timeout as 0, timeout in set timeout, right? Set timeout, okay. Would the callback function be called afterwards? Yes, the callback function will be called afterwards only. I'll just copy paste the example from here. Where was the example? I guess this was the example, or this. Okay, this was the example, right? I'll copy paste and show it to you. Yes, that will be your question is right. It'll be callback will be printed lately. We'll just see it in a second, and I'll give you the reason. That's why. Right. This was the reason, right? I'm just giving it a delay of, let's say, 0. That'll work. Let's see. Start, end, and within a second only that it is showing me callback, right? It is happening because this set timeout has a functionality that everything that our web APIs, like every web API which I'm being accessing is, right, it will initially go towards the callback queue. Initially, it will go towards the callback queue, right? Where is the diagram? Where is the diagram? Okay, initially it will go towards the callback queue first, and this event loop will only bring it from this callback queue towards this call stack only when this call stack is empty. That is all the functionalities has been performed and done according to the order. Only when this call stack is empty, then only this callback will come towards my call stack and this function will run. So that is the reason why you are getting this callback function afterwards. Is it clear, Rochak Sharma? It is not majorly dependent on the timeout. It depends on the web APIs which are being directly thrown to the callback queue. We have more queues, priority queues are also there, but it's like yes, sir. Okay. It's like more of web APIs are directly being there, and until unless my call stack gets empty, so you are not able to access the values of it. You are not like getting it in the same order, even if the time is, I would say, small or like it is negligible, right? So, is it clear till now? Is it the thing? Is are the things clear, right? Are the things clear to you guys? Pritesh saying clear. Okay, great, Pritesh. Okay, so I guess okay, someone messaged yes, clear, Bhumika, clear, great. So I need you guys to do a small topic from your side. That is easy. I'll just give you a glimpse that promise you guys need to do it from your own. Promise. It's an important concept and it's easy as well if only if you use it once, right? Uh, to explain in a nutshell, promise has basically promise the reason of promise is to like basically save yourself from, I would say, uh, from major callbacks, right? When you callbacks, right? The purpose of promise is to save yourself from uh, callback hell. From callback hell. What is callback hell? Multiple callbacks at the same time and making a confusion is callback hell, right? So to save yourself from callback hell, and it's like to just create a linearity in your code, right? Linearity is like creating an ease, right? Creating a linearity in your code. Linearity in your right. This is, I would say, the basic reason why we use promise. And promise is basically having, I would say, three positions, right? What basically happens when you promise someone? Either you fulfill the promise or you don't fulfill the promise, right? But that promise is little different from this one. Here, three conditions or three possible outputs are there. One of them is okay, this promise is resolved. Second is let's say this promise is rejected. Reject, I would say, not rejected. Resolve, rejected. Resolve ही होगा, resolve नहीं होगा, right? Resolve, reject, and it's in the pending stage, right? It's in the pending stage. Like I don't know, is it resolved or is it like yet to be resolved or is it rejected? I don't know about any of the above two, so that's why it is in the pending stage, right? Uh, so just try it out on your own. Like this is your homework. Study about promises. Like promises are like helpful for you in the future as well. This is your homework. uh, Refer a video or mdn, anything for that matter. The documentation for this part must be pretty good and pretty great. So i I expect this is an easy topic, and this is like I give you the reason why we use promise. We use promise to like create linearity, that is cleanliness and easiness of the code. And promise is like the latest syntax, right? This was not present before ES6. It was not present before ES6. So this, I would say, the latest syntax, uh, part of latest syntax, right? So do give it a read. Do like read about it and read about uh, these three states. These are basically known as states of promise, right? Resolved state, reject state, and pending state. So read about these three states as well. And after that, in the Friday class, we'll be starting with the DOM or the jQuery, whatever that will suit us accordingly, right? So, congratulations, most of like 99% of your job. How can handle error and promise? They have see basically handling promise was difficult in callbacks, right? So that's why we have two things in it, right? Whenever we use a promise, right? For a promise asks us to like do the chaining of function in it. Like we have a dot then chaining. Okay, let me write it a bit so that it helps you out there. So I'm just giving you an example. Just take an example from this, and like this might help you, right? For example, what I can do is like I'm making a promise. Like how I make a promise is like I make a new promise, right? New promise, and inside this I give a function, right? I give a function. not writing the entire thing. Function has two parameters in it. Either it is resolved, resolve and reject. These are having two parameters in it, right? So resolve or reject. Now what you do is you basically work over the function, not this brace. This is has to be this brace. You basically now uh, check for the condition or whatever you want to write in your code, right? This is how you create a promise, right? This is how you create a promise. And now let's assume uh, you're using some random numbers. Yeah, math dot random numbers. We've learned about random numbers, right? Math dot random numbers. Uh, for how we get random numbers, we simply write random math dot random, and we get a value somewhere from 0 to 1, where 1 is not included. So we get random numbers here. So I'll save this value at let's say a is random number. Now I'll give it a condition. If a is greater than 0.5, uh, then run my resolve function. These are also functions itself. These are maybe also not maybe these are also functions itself. So run resolve function. If a is value is like else may you don't give the condition, right? Else may you won't be writing the condition. Else go for the reject function, right? And inside the reject and resolve function, what you can do is uh, you can like okay, you can chain it by x dot then. There is a chaining of function there. X dot then. If this resolve function will take place, then this then function will work. Like you'll be writing the functionality of the function inside this chaining of dot then. If resolve will work, then there will be the function that will be I would say that will be working. And if reject is the one like that is else will work, then this reject will work. And if this reject function will work, then it will be cached inside this dot chaining of catch block, right? So this is how we'll be like write any of the function like console.log hello hi console.log bye whatever you want to write, whatever functionality or whatever function you want to write. This is how we basically make use of promises, and we basically handle errors using this catch, right? What is the purpose of new before promise? New, like everything new stands for is like whenever you are using this new keyword, right? This tells you about okay, this is a constructor thing. This is something uh, which basically what is the purpose of new? This is basically constructor, right? Exactly. So read about this new keyword as well. Everyone I think is a little confused with this new as well as this like this constructor thing. Read about constructor as well, because constructor I gave you an explanation, but of course self study is always important. Spoon feeding mein utna you don't get benefit. So read. I gave you a basic of promise, and I guess now you are good to understand that how promises will work. But of course अपने end से एक बार try जरूर करना. That is can you give small what I gave a glimpse, right? Can you please explain dot then again? Okay, no worries. See, I give it a math dot random. Let's assume this a variable of mine gets a value of 0.4 in case 1 and gets a value of uh, 0.6 in case 2, right? This is possible, right? This is possible. So I'm giving it a chaining that I'm giving it a condition that if my value of a I'm talking about case 1, if my value of a is greater than 0.5, then go and then go to the function of resolved one. I want to go to my resolve function. This is my resolve parameter, right? I'll go to my resolve parameter. Else, if the value is in like case 2, then go to the reject function. This is my resolve, this is my reject. Now, uh, if the resolve function is being called or we are about to call our resolve function, then what happen is you you have given it or assigned it with the value, right? So this is the value, or this is I would say the function over which you are chaining things or over which you want the implementation to happen. If resolve is there, then your then function will be chained and executed. If reject is there, like if reject function is being called because of your functionality or a condition, then this catch block is being taken into consideration. This was just for example, but basically this catch is being taken when let's assume you are making a route or your route gets a break somewhere or you don't get the entire same functionality or the output or the input of that thing is not up to the mark, right? So that's in that case catch block is generally used, and you are like able to use the chaining kind of stuff using this promise, right? Rest I guess this is not a very big topic. You're studying it for the first time, then only you are getting this. Just relate this then as a parameter and argument stuff. This then will this then I would say uh, this then keyword right now, just for understanding, it's not the keyword, it's basically something else. I'm not getting the word right now. This then will be acting as a parameter to that resolve argument. So compare it or get it with the same thing, right? Don't confuse yourself with other stuff. Rest, do read about promise and do read about all the stuff which were taught in the class along with the constructor functions, right? So I guess this is enough for JavaScript and we are done with JavaScript part. We can proceed with Dom and jQuery from the next classes. And from Monday, your TA will be assigned to you, and that TA, that is also your teacher, that will be helping you out with your doubts. Okay, got it. It's a great Mohit. That will be helping you out with doubts, and hopefully you will be like cleared with all the concepts pretty soon. And of course, self reading and self uh, feeding is also important. So try that way as well, right? Okay, so I guess we are good to end this today's session, and we'll be meeting on Friday, right? Till